Good day, lovely viewers. You're welcome to another special edition of Life Moments right here on UB Clifton's. Before anything, please do not forget to subscribe and like our videos. You can also share our videos across all social media networks. Please remember to keep the comments respectful. My name is Della Boatin as usual, and our guest for today is in the person of Lieutenant Colonel Opuni Mensah. This man has a lot to share with us today. He was once the mayor of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. He was also the engineer who supervised the building of the 37 military hospital. Yes, Mr. Colonel Lieutenant Opuni Mensah was also he was also around during the Coup d'etat, during Rawlings' time. Yes, John Jerry Rawlings, may his soul rest in peace. Daddy, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so how is the regular day like for you?
I was away in the U.S. The past 5 years. I came down just a little over a month ago, and I'm in my house just relaxing.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about your growing up, your upbringing, how you started, the school you went to, the courses you did? Yes.
Okay, well, I started from the village.
What village is that?
That is Domiambra, the Ashanti-Achim North district.
Okay.
And from there I came to Prempeh College. And from there, I went to Takoradi Polytechnic.
Okay, what program did you do there?
That was building construction.
Okay.
And from there, I joined the army in 1966, November to be precise.
Okay, how old were you then?
I was 25 years.
Okay. One would say you are the prime of your life. You are the prime of your life.
Yes.
Okay. So, how did you become a lieutenant or a colonel? Like, take us through that phase of your life.
Well, when I joined the army, I went to the military academy as usual, and from there, I was posted to Accra briefly as assistant engineer, garrison engineer we call it. I was posted to Takoradi, from there to Sunyane, Tamale, and eventually I ended up in Accra.
Okay, when did you get married? Did you get married before completing school or?
No, I got married in 1970.
1970.
Yes, when I was in the army.
Okay, so you were still a military man when the coup d'etat happened. We would like you to tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, as I said, I joined the army in 1966 after...
Hold on, I would like us to talk about that, but before then, I would like to know what even made you join the army?
I loved the
okay,
army.
So it was a passion.
Yes, that was my passion. Then in my infancy.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that give me the military uniform, and even you can forget about the pay.
So what was it? What was that thing that really drove you into the military? Absolutely.
Oh,
well, you love it, but what?
I loved it, but after the Second World War, some veterans came to my village, and there were two of them who were working with my father on the farm.
Okay.
And I loved their headdress with the feathers on it.
Okay.
I said, yes, I must have this. I loved uniform.
Okay. 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 Okay.
So, as I mentioned, 1966, I had the opportunity to join, but that was soon after the first coup, which overthrew Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So when I joined, I was sent to the military academy, and from there I went to the various stations which I mentioned. Takoradi, Sunyani, Tamale, before I ended up in Accra.
Right. So, about the coup. We are really eager to.
You are more interested in the coup. I was not the coup maker.
Yeah, obviously. But you were around that time. You were around during the time it happened.
1979, what happened was that I was way up in the north, on my farm, the June 4th. I had previously killed a bush turkey, and I was coming to the town to enjoy it with my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yes. And what happened was that I got to the barracks, Kamina barracks to be precise. I got to the gate, and they asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "Major Opuni Mensah." Then they said, "Hey, Masa, you die finish." Yes, you die finish. I was getting annoyed. What the hell do you mean by...
You had just gone to get a bushmeat.
Yes. So they said, well, there's a coup, and they say that all majors and above must be arrested. So you are under arrest.
Wow.
And there, they took my car from me and started doubling me all the way from the gate to the guard room.
Just for being a major?
Yes, for being a major in the army, because it was a junior rank coup, captains and below.
Okay.
But since I was a major, it meant I was on attack.
I see. So you were arrested?
Yes, I was arrested, sent to the guard room. There I met some other officers. The officers who were in Tamale at that time. At that time we had 6BN, we had Airborne Force, we had the Air Force also there. There were 3 units, and all the senior officers of these, in fact not all the senior officers, all the officers in the 3 units were all pushed to the guard room in Kamina barracks. And it was interesting. As soon as I got there, I was shaved.
Wow.
And even before I was shaved, somebody tried to choke me with the bayonet of the rifle. So I was bleeding when I got to the guard room, and that is what compelled them to shave me immediately. And I realized that I was not the only person. There were a number of officers there, but we were all kept in the guard room. And later in the day, no, it was the next day that we were all sent to Accra.
Okay, so you were there for like a day?
Yes, we were there for a day. What had happened was that the soldiers in the Airborne Force and also the Air Force were claiming that they did not understand why their officers should be kept at Kamina Barracks, which was 6BN. So they wanted to come and attack the soldiers in Kamina Barracks. And this got to the notice of Accra. So Accra sent an aircraft to come and pick us to Accra. We passed through Sunyani and picked the other officers who had also been assembled there. And we were all sent to Accra. Right. We were put in Flagstaff House. And we were there for a day, but in the night, the news came to the effect that our place was too comfortable. Before the night, we were told that the instruction had come, we should be taken to Air Force guard room. Now, Air Force guard room was a typical place at that time.
When you say typical, what do you mean?
Typical in the sense that, the coup was engineered by Chairman Rawlings, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings and his team, and for that matter, the Air Force was the base. Even though Gonda Barracks was there, but we were sent to the Air Force guard room. There were a lot of us there. Occasionally somebody would be called and we would not know what would be happening to him. But we were there until about somewhere getting to the midnight. And then a soldier came in and asked, "Who is Major Opuni Mensah?" I said, "Yes, sir, I'm here." And the result was that he came with a short notice saying that the PNDC had viewed my position and my behavior in the army, and that I was exonerated. I was set free, so I could go home. At that time, my family was in Kumasi. They knew I was in Tamale. They didn't know that I had been taken. They didn't know what was happening to me. They thought I was on the farm. But unfortunately, here I was. And eventually, when I got out, I took the opportunity to come back quickly to Kumasi.
When you talked about the time the coup happened and you came back from the farm coming to prepare the bushmeat you had just killed, you said you were arrested together with your colleagues and you were sent to a place, and then sometimes they would come and call some of your colleagues and then you don't know what happened to them. After you were given these positions or after you left, did you ever go back to find out what happened to your colleagues?
A lot of them were senior officers. You know.
Just like you?
No, I was a major. We had colonels and brigadiers all there. I remember that night it was raining heavily, and when I saw that the colonels, the full colonels and the brigadiers were sitting, I just didn't attempt to sit. I stood all the time. I was being beaten by the rain because I felt that was my plight, you know, at that time. Now, it was, later on I got to know that a number of the officers who were called out were executed. You know.
And what was the reason?
In the heat of the revolution, a lot of things happened. So many people were killed. And just as it happened in my case, I said they reviewed my life in the army and came out to say that I was exonerated. If somebody was found to be guilty or something, there was the tribunal, you know, which sometimes would not even call you to come and answer any questions. But if you were called to come and answer, of course I didn't go there, so I don't know exactly what happened. But what I learned later on was that a number of these people were killed, just as the generals were shot at the shooting range in Teshi.
Right.
So
all these while they had no idea.
Yes, until I came back. Okay. And when I came back, of course I told them everything. I was there when I had the information that I should call at his place. He wanted me to be deputy secretary at that time, deputy minister for roads. But I'm personally not very much interested in politics. So I managed to stay away from him. He called me the second time that he wanted me to go ahead the PWD. And again, I said,
okay, I'd like us to focus a little bit on when they tried giving you the first appointment and you declined the offer. Were you not scared? I mean, knowing the first time that just by being a major, they arrested you and your colleagues, and then now you are being given the opportunity to do something for your country, and then it's like you have so much guts to tell the then leader, president, that you didn't want it.
Yes, I did that because I realized that there were far senior engineers, you know, above me.
Yeah.
So I thought if there was an opportunity like that, it should be given to the seniors. So the first time it was for PWD. He wanted me to go ahead, and I just managed to stay away, very cleverly. Then again, he said I should go in as a deputy secretary for roads and highways. Again, I said I didn't want it. In fact, the secretary, the roads and highways secretary at that time was my classmate at Prempeh College. He was very anxious to see me there, but I was not interested in the political appointment. And March 1985, around Easter time, when I was called this time personally by the chairman Rawlings, that I should come and see him. So then he was the chairman, he wasn't the president? No, he was not the president at that time. He was the chairman of the PNDC. My period was the PNDC era. It was later on that the P was taken away and we had NDC, which was a political party. So I didn't go there as a politician. I was a 7 military man. I was posted there on duty. So I was in uniform all the time. So I said again that in 1985, I was called. This time, Easter Monday, I very well remember. I was in my garden when he sent his ADC to me, saying that the post of mayor, at that time we called it the chairman for the Kumasi City Council. There was that vacancy. There were a lot of people lobbying for that, but on the quiet, he had got the information that I could do the job to his satisfaction. Wow. So he wanted me to take it.
How was it like?
Now, because I had declined the first and the second offer, I told him that, okay, I would take it. But I gave him a condition. My condition was that I belong to the Adventist Church. I will not be working on Saturday. I would not be attending any functions. He would be attending here in Kumasi on Saturday because I will be in the church. Now, surprisingly, as soon as I mentioned this, he said, "Chief, I know."
It means he had already done his homework.
Yes. Later on, I got to know that he had set spies to trail me all this period. So he knew more about me, when in fact I had never ever talked to him, even though before then, even though we all belong to the Ghana Armed Forces.
I would like us to focus on when you finally decided to accept the appointment of the position of the mayor. At that time, you had a name you called it, I believe. But then, how was it like? And what was the general feeling like? And knowing that a coup had just happened, and then you had to turn down other positions, but then with this one, you couldn't run away from it. How was it like?
Okay, what happened at that time was that a lot of people believed that I was fairly gentle. And for that matter, knowing the sort of people you meet here in Kumasi, you need a tough person. But I was not going to rule with a rod. So I was given an assistant who was tough. Definitely. But when I came in, there were a lot of things to be done here, and it was just by God's grace that we started succeeding.
How many years did you spend in office?
I spent only 3 years there.
Why 3 years?
The problem was that at that time there were traders all over the places. We wanted to organize them, especially at the Central Market and Kejetia. Now we wanted to organize them in such a way that there would be sanity at these places. We did that at some stage, and the regional minister at that time, my senior Colonel Osewusu, came in and said I should sack some people from some place because he was bringing his favorites there.
Oh.
Now, unfortunately, I couldn't accept that. I couldn't accept that.
That wouldn't be fair.
I thought it was not fair. But he, being my senior,
yes.
he went all the way to the
protocol.
Yes, he went all the way to Accra, to the armed forces, and the head of the armed forces was saying that, well, I couldn't
follow an order.
It was not proper for a junior officer to refuse the orders of the senior officer. Chairman Rawlings was not happy at all with the situation because the head of the military at that time was saying that no, what I had done was not the military way, and for that matter, I should come back to barracks. So I went back to barracks.
Okay.
That was to Burma camp.
Okay, so when you went back to...
And that was 1988.
Okay, so when you went back to barracks, that was it?
No, when I went back to barracks, I was... I joined my mother, what do you call it, corps, which was the engineer corps.
Okay.
I was made the chief engineer officer. I served with the United Nations force in Lebanon and Israel.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How many years?
I went there 3 times.
Oh.
Yes. 1980 and 85 and 89.
Okay. Okay. At a point in time, your house, the place where you have spent so much time and so much memories, got burnt. And
no, that was the official residence of the chairman for the city council.
Okay.
The mayor's residence.
Yes. How long have you been living there? How long have you been staying?
No, this thing happened when 85, 86. I had been there just 1 year.
Just 1 year?
Yes.
Okay.
And one Saturday morning, I was in the church at Makum with my cook, with my driver, all my household. We were there when some people went behind us and set fire to the residence.
Wow.
That is how it got burnt.
Okay.
And again, I want to remember the donations which the people of Kumasi gave. My wife and I, plus our children, all that we had on to church were all that we had. But at the end of the day, we had boxes of clothes.
Why did you think those people did that?
No, for example, the financial...
the revenue collection.
The revenue collection we brought in, that exercise was not a popular one to most of the workers.
They felt cheated.
Yes, and I could also imagine that there was definitely some people who were lobbying for that position, but I didn't know Rawlings, and yet he called me and said I should come and take it. So they wished me dead or something like that.
After you disobeyed this direct order from your
superior officer,
yeah, the chairman,
the head of state,
yes, he wasn't happy with what was happening. Did you do anything about it? And when you went back, what was the relationship like?
Oh, initially, when I came back, in fact, what happened was that he sent his presidential jet to come and pick the two of us.
Wow.
Myself and the regional secretary to Accra. And after long discussions at the top level, it was decided that I should come home. I should come back to the barracks. And I said, Chairman Rawlings was not happy with the situation because he told me personally, this is how he put it. Chief, he was calling me Chief all the time. Chief, what at all is wrong with your people, the Ashantis? I didn't understand him. I was looking at him in the face. He said, yes, you know that all the charge they could raise against you was that you don't want to work on Saturday. That was the main charge why all these things had happened.
Which means you were really doing a good job.
I was doing a good job because at that time, he even told me that he wished he had me in Accra because we were doing far better here with our smaller population than what even Accra was doing.
Okay.
So he was very happy with me.
Okay.
That's when he sent, when I went back, there was going to be renovation of the military hospital.
Okay.
And I was made responsible for that.
Okay. So you supervised in the building of the 37 military hospital?
No, 37 military hospital had been there before I was born.
Okay.
But we had to do some renovations.
Right.
For example, the maternity block, there were, I think, 3 blocks where the theater also, we had to rehabilitate it.
Okay.
And I was responsible.
Okay.
Everything moved smoothly.
So after you were done with supervising the renovation of the 37 military hospital, was that it? Did you have any other encounter with J.J. Rawlings?
No, we didn't have any serious encounter, except that, as I mentioned, when I left this place and I was working at military hospital, that was the time we talked, you know.
So you and JJ are friends?
Yes.
To some extent?
Yes.
Or you are really...
He was happy with my administration.
Okay.
He admired me for what I did.
During the heat of all that, you knew anything could happen. Did you feel like your fate would have been just like your colleagues, those who were called and never came back? Did you at a point feel like any moment from now?
No, I got to know of God the way I do now after the coup, the first one. I don't know. You see, I mentioned to you that there was the 66 coup of Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes.
I was then a student at Tech. And then 79, I was in the army, and 81 and the rest. All those things happened to me in the army, you know. But after 1981, I did not cherish any fears, you know, because right now I believe that where I am, the Lord has prepared me for eternal life.
For anything.
Yes, so if anything should happen to me now, I'm only going to rest. That's all.
Okay. So
that is my belief.
So during that time, you still had this conviction. Did you still have that? Did you still experience?
That's what I was telling you, that Chairman Rawlings, when he first called me to give me the appointment way back in 1985, I told him that I had come to know God and I would want to worship my God.
Right.
And he accepted.
So, Daddy, would also like to know, if you should go back in time, is there anything you would want to change?
I mentioned earlier that I have great love for women, you know, because I see that women show greater love to not only the husbands, but also to the children and the community.
Okay.
The job I was doing, I had this microfinance company. You know, we were only in, and that was after my retirement. I came home on voluntary retirement.
Okay.
Yes. I said I wanted to help the country recover from whatever.
Okay.
Initially, I was doing poultry farming, but unfortunately, I realized that my workers were stealing almost everything. They would steal the chicken, they would steal the eggs, they would steal the the drugs we were giving to the chicken, even maize, which we were giving to the chicken,
as feed,
as feed, the workers would steal all these, you know. And I realized that no, it was just too bad. So I had to leave poultry keeping, and I started a microfinance company. We started with just $2,000. A nephew of mine gave it to me for some job to be done in my village. I had contributed earlier on to build one classroom for my village.
Wow.
And the nephew of mine, a classroom block of 6 classrooms. And then the senior, one of the senior, the nephews of mine had also built another 4 classrooms,
wow,
you know, to help the community.
Wow.
So this second nephew said, well, he was interested in what we call a clinic for my village. So he gave us the church in my village, the SDA church, because these structures I'm talking of were built with communal labor. Yeah. We will provide the materials and the church will provide the labor. This is how we got these 2 projects going. And when it came to the time of the clinic, the construction of the clinic, my people said they were tired. They couldn't spend that much time on their farms, so I should give them a break. So this money, which was with me $2,000, that's what I started using with for the microfinance. Lo and behold, friends, relatives, and people all over places will come, oh, you are doing a good job, take this. And I was paying them. Initially, I was even giving them 50% interest on whatever they gave me. But coming back, I was more interested in these women because we realized that the woman will come and plead for a loan of 200 Ghana cedis. You ask, what do you want this for? I said, well, I want to go and trade with it. We realized that some of these women will go to the railway Bantama market and the race course, yes. What they will do is they will buy a bunch of plantain with kuntumbre and things like that. And then they will take round. They were making no less than 50% profit a day. So they were very happy. And these were the people we were helping with. You know, we helped them until there came a time that we thought most of them were also needed to upgrade themselves. Yeah. Those people who were staying in some uncompleted houses decided that now they could rent rooms, things like that. And before we were aware, we had so much in debt that we couldn't recover. You know, we couldn't recover. At the time, 2005, December, we realized that no, we were running into trouble. So I said, let's close the business. The money which was in debt, we couldn't collect. But those we were owing, we had to pay them. Wow. But by God's grace, that problem is over.
So if you go back in time, that is what you...
So what I'm saying is that if the government and people who have the means could help women, especially with these children who don't have the fathers to support them. I am personally interested in orphans. You know, I have been keeping orphans for years. Right now I have 4 of them here, even in my house. You know, I enjoy it. I think it's a privilege, yes, that God has given me. And when you come and meet me with these children, you wonder where they come from. There's no difference between them and my children. A lot of them are enjoying things far better than what I could give my own children.
So quickly, I'd like us to touch on the benefits that came with you being a mayor at that time when the coup started. We want to know what benefits you enjoy. Certainly, you enjoy some benefits.
No, in the army before I came to be a mayor, I was working with both soldiers and civilians. Do you see? So that gave me the opportunity to work here with ease.
Okay.
With ease. And as I said, the way we handled the finances of the city council, there were great improvements overnight. And that has helped me to know how to use money.
Okay. Okay. So
For the benefit of the community.
Okay, but personally, what benefits did you enjoy?
That's what I'm saying, that I have come to know that help people. I lost my father when I was very young. Some people helped me to come to where I am now. So if I have the opportunity to help anybody, I want to do that.
Okay, so we'll be wrapping up very soon. However, we'd like you to leave us with a few words, a few kind words for especially young people who are coming up, and advice that you would want to have. For instance, your younger self, what kind of advice would you give your younger self, as most people watching are you?
What I would want to encourage people to do is to try and find God.
Try and find God.
Yes. When you know God and the love of God, you know what God has done through Jesus for you and for the whole of mankind. The final objective of God, what He wants to give all of us in future. You always want to run away from sin. Do you see? You don't cherish sin. You know that the Holy Spirit is with you wherever you are. God watching you. Nobody will steal when there's a policeman around.
Yeah,
you know. But that is not the main point. God has the love for us. He is all wise, all knowing. He is everywhere. He is all powerful. So whatever you want to achieve in life, He has the answer to it. So get to God. And of course, the next thing I want to mention is that if you should plan to work hard, you definitely would succeed in life. Lazy people, I don't cherish. I pray that no lazy person will come my way.
Amen to that. So, do you have any regrets in life?
Regrets in life, as I mentioned, at some stage, I didn't understand why I was here, you know. But now I enjoy life.
Okay.
I enjoy life because what is it? What would I call regret? It was a way by which I have come to know God. You know, for example, what happened to me in Tamale, I don't regret over it.
Okay.
I take it as one of the ways the Lord wanted to prepare me for a better, a greater responsibility.
Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you so much, Lieutenant Mensah. It's nice listening to you, and thank you for talking to me. So that'll be all for today. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Please keep your comments respectful and feel free to share. See you some other time. Bye.